Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I am Kass and this is day one of a fantastic road trip to Alaska, Northwest Territories, everything in between and back to Alberta again. We are embarking on a 22-day journey, traveling about 10,500 kilometers or 6,600 miles if you're more familiar with that, from Calgary, Alberta to BC, Yukon, Alaska, Northwest Territory and back to Alberta and Calgary again. In this adventure we'll have breathtaking landscapes, incredible sights that will await us along this magnificent journey. Covering this trip we will have about 20 individual videos from each day's adventure, stating which day of the trip we are on to help you keep track of what day it is in this journey and where we are at, especially as we have some other videos in between as well. So day one of this journey begins in the vibrant city of Calgary that is nestled in the foothills of the majestic Rocky Mountains, and we stay for the night in Hinton, Alberta. Here we have day one, Calgary, Hinton, 529 kilometers, about 330 miles. Starting in Calgary, passing by Banff, Lake Louise, to the Jasper National Park in the Icefields, and ultimately stopping in the town of Hinton. The red arrow is the direction of travel, and throughout the video you will see a little map section indicating to you a little bit where we are at. With Calgary being the chosen starting point for this epic journey, I'm going to share a little bit of information about Calgary as well. The city of Calgary has a population of about 1.3 million, and if we count the metropolitan areas it's around 1.5 million, making it Canada's third largest city and fifth largest metropolitan area. So right now we are on Trans-Canada Highway, also known as the number 1 highway, and I'll have a little bit of tidbits of information on that as well. But we are traveling west/northwest, and actually right now we are getting close to the town of Canmore, and I do believe Canmore is about 18,000 people. It's known for the mountain chain called the Three Sisters, and it has the Nordic Park, provincial park I believe as well. And we are slowly approaching the parks gate for the national park here. Now going to Canmore you don't need a parks pass, but if you want to go to Banff, right now we are on the other side of the parks gate, you actually need a pass if you want to stop within the national park's boundary. Now we are past Banff already, as you can see on the little map here. So we are between Banff and Lake Louise. We won't stop in Banff and or Lake Louise, as kind of it's our backyard, and we will cover this in another video. So not during this trip, as it's relatively close for us to go there, I can say just about any day. But anyhow, here we are heading northwest and speaking towards Lake Louise. But speaking a bit about the Trans-Canada Highway, the highway stretches from the east to the west coast with a total length of 7,800 kilometers roughly, or for you guys that are more familiar with miles, that's about 4,800 miles. And it goes from ocean to ocean, and of course in the east it's the Pacific, in the east it's the Atlantic, and in the west it's the Pacific. These gates here, or these tunnels here, are not just tunnels, these are actually wildlife overpasses that are being built. Some of them are still being built, some of them are around for a few years, but it's designed for wildlife to pass safely across the highway. We are leaving the Trans-Canada Highway. If you keep going left, that will get you into British Columbia already. Then the first town would be Field, and then or Fields. I'm not sure if it's Field or Fields. One was the store and one is the town. I can never remember which one. Anyways, that will get you down to Fields and then eventually to Golden, but we are turning off on the right, and we are taking the Icefields Parkway and approaching another opportunity with the park pass for the national park. And you can purchase a pass for the day, or you can have one for an entire year, and it's valid for all the national parks in Canada. Hi. Yeah, all good? Okay. As we already have a yearly pass, we are all good to move on, and we continue our drive on the Icefields Parkways. And the highway that goes, I guess I can say, between Lake Louise and the town of Jasper, the length of it is about 230 kilometers, and again in miles, that's about 145 miles, and it's considered one of the top drives in the world. And maybe let me know what you think once you see the scenery along this highway of the mountain views. As we are driving up this highway, it's a nice day. I think it was about 28 Celsius still, which was warm for us for early September. I'm not sure, that's probably something in the 80s with the Fahrenheit. And I'm not sure if you can see on the left there's a little bit of a glacier up on the mountain. But where I'm trying to head with this, you see it's kind of, I use the word hazy. It's not just from clouds. I think we still have some remnants of the huge forest fires that unfortunately swept through the areas here this summer. I'll get back to that in a little while. And that still makes it hazy, and some places you can actually smell the smokes, and a lot of areas were still closed. Now here we pulled out and had a little snack. Not a bad view for a quick snack. What do you think? And then we have some construction. You know how they say up here in the north, and I'm sure other places may be the same thing, we have two seasons. One is road construction and one is winter. Well, it's not quite winter yet, so we are still in the season of road construction. And as we end up further north, as you will see, there was plenty of it, which at times got a little bit frustrating, because sometimes you had to wait with one lane traffic or complete highway closures for some time. Well, as we move further up and travel this highway, I have a little bit more of tidbits of information, but I think for right now I'll sit back, we'll listen to some music, and I'll let you enjoy the absolute scenery. Now this section here was one of my favorite trips of that drive, and yes, we are pretty spoiled with a landscape like that in our backyard, but this one here, as I said, was one of my favorite little sections of the drive. So with that, let's listen to some music and enjoy. So, what do you think about this drive? Absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Anyways, maybe leave us a comment, let me know what you think about this area. But in the meantime, we are getting closer to the Columbia Icefields. You may heard of them, not sure, but the Columbia Icefields are the largest icefields in North America. We did not stop, well, we didn't stop, we did stop, but we did not check it out any further again because it's kind of in our backyard. So we'll make a trip and cover this area more closely in a subsequent video down the road. So it's not part of this trip, but we did get into the parking lot real quick, and as you can see, it's extremely busy. Up front you do see a glacier up there, and once I pull in here you will see to the left some more of the actual ice fields. Well, I do believe I already mentioned these are North America's largest ice fields, and on the map here, if I would have to take a guess, they're about 50-60 kilometers south of Jasper. Here you see the glaciers in the background to the right, and then up front coming from the mountain tops again.
Yeah, go ahead.
And we are back on the highway heading further up the valley. Now when I said 50-60 kilometers, maybe it is 65 or something like that, so don't hold me to the exact number. This is just kind of a pretty close guess at this point.
I guess parking is there.
Now as we drive up further here, we are kind of talking about where potentially to stay in this area, because you want to be early. Again, to the right you see a second parking lot, and you can see how jam-packed full it is. So if you can, I guess you want to be here early and not too late in the day, so you actually find parking. But again, as well as a reminder, you do need a park pass to get into this area. Well, we're gonna listen to a little bit of music during the drive here, and I'll catch up with you again in a little bit here. We are getting closer to Jasper, and as you can see to the left and right of the road, and also straight ahead, there is you see burnt trees. And again, as I mentioned, this area had a huge wildfire this year that unfortunately also affected the town site of Jasper, and I think sadly about 30% of the town burnt down. And I'm sure there has been plenty of coverage on that, so out of respect to the people that lost everything in this fire, I will not show any of the damaged town areas. But as you can see here, left and right of the highway, with all the burned trees, it was an absolute massive fire that swept through the area, and there are still pockets left, and most of the pullouts or even campgrounds or anything for that matter are closed for the remainder of this year. And unfortunately in the town of Jasper, a lot of things need to be rebuilt, so this will take some time. After Jasper, we traveled to Hinton, which marked the end of our first day's travel. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned to our channel so you don't miss day 2 of this 22-day trip, and maybe leave a comment, where do you think day 2 will end? Thanks for watching, and see you all in the next one.